Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, and welcome to our Liverpool You Never Walk Alone What's Up on YouTube channel. Another performance, dire as it was. It was Liverpool versus Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park in London, and to be honest, it was definitely the most boring game we've played this season. Before the inquest into this one, before we start, I held no hope from the beginning when I saw that, you know, we'd lost Nunes and Joe Gomez out, which, to be honest, Gomez makes no difference, but obviously losing Nunes was a blow, because he does bring some sort of excitement to the front line, the chaos as they call it. But starting Naby Keita in midfield, James Milner and fucking Henderson, like, that was never going to work. Never. The fucking midfield is too old, and Naby Keita's completely shite. He's never been good. He's never been any good for Liverpool. He's had 3 good games in his whole fucking career for Liverpool. And the only thing that makes his performances any worse than they are is our persistence and hanging him on. And talking about renewing his contract. What for? Fuck him off. He should have been gone 2 years ago. But anyway, we had 2 efforts off the bar. Salah hit the post, Jota hit the post, or the woodwork, and that was it. My man of the match is Harvey Elliott, who came on in the second half as a substitute. That's how fucking poor we are. Obviously he rang in the changes after the Madrid farcical disaster that was, but this team's done. Honest to Jesus, it's done. We're lifeless. We are so far off the fucking pace, it's not even funny. And the small glimmer of hope that we had from the Everton and the Newcastle away game has most certainly fucking disintegrated. Our mini revival is fucking over, and we're back to this shit. Crystal Palace are an awful team. I'm not going to pretend they haven't had a win in 2023 at all. I'm not saying we've only had 2 fucking wins, but they're fucking hopeless, and we were just as bad as they were. It was the worst 0-0 game you could watch this weekend, and with others around us winning away, and you know, it's just fucking depressing. If the Champions League wasn't chastising enough, having to watch that on a Saturday was just as fucking bad. We're a lifeless team. And our season, if we can limp to top 4, it'll be a fucking miracle. I'm not saying it won't happen. I still believe it can happen, for the simple reason I think there's other shit teams above us that can drop a load of points. Same shit again. I see articles in it and people on YouTube, should Klopp be sacked and all this shit. Jurgen Klopp's not getting sacked. FSG won't get rid of him because they won't pay to get rid of him. Even if they wanted to get fucking rid of him, they won't. So that's not going to happen. If you stuck a piece of coal up John Henry's arse, a fucking diamond would come out. He's that tight with money. He doesn't spend any money on his fucking teams, so he's certainly not going to spend any money to get rid of a manager. And to be honest, Klopp can turn this around with some fucking players. But the longer this goes on, the more players we look like we need. Like, I get rid of our whole midfield, our whole starting midfield. Henderson, Milner, Keita, they can fucking go. Ox can go with them. There's a whole heap of them that can go. Matip's not good enough. Joe Gomez isn't good enough. Trent, most of the time, can't defend, and he's not good enough as a right back. And Robbo and Virgil are average at the minute in a very fucking average looking team. which is shocking to most of us who love the club. how our decline is so poor, so poor. I've been screaming from 2019 that we should have been adding to the squad from our Champions League win. We didn't. We threw in Minamino and some other shite that are just prospects that every club buys on the hope that they might, get a start out of them. But you don't base your whole strategy on that. But we do. We got rid of some promising youngsters to make room for these fucking disasters, and then we sell them for a profit, and we spend our whole time clapping ourselves on the back for it. We're a football club, and as a football club, we should be looking to compete and win. That's what football teams do. We're not a business, even though we're ran as a business, and I'd say we turn profit every year. When clubs with ambition would sell whatever they could to get to the next stage of their development, we just hang on to the shit that we've so much dead wood in the club, it's not even funny. We're a fucking shipwreck of a team. Where do we go from here? Horribly. Like, Manchester United is coming soon. I know they're coming in a game or two. I think it's 2 or 3 games time. Like, that's gonna be a fucking nightmare if they turn us over in Anfield. Biggest game of the season. Forget the Champions League recovery. That's not going to happen. I think Real Madrid will win 3-0 at home. 2-0 anyway. We're not going to go there and score a couple of goals. Oh, what happened with Barcelona? Different times. Different. We were playing fantastic football back then, and we were very unlucky that night at the Nou Camp. And we knew we probably had a chance to maybe do something at home. We're not going to do anything away. We're worse travellers than a fucking sick child in the backseat of a car. So we're not going to do anything away from home. It's just going to be another chastising experience. I think we've got 2 league games, and then we go over to Madrid. And once that's over, we've only got this competition left, which is the league. And to be honest, I can't wait for the fucking season to be over. It's been a fucking very sombering experience. Where do we go from here? Not very far unless we start really investing. We need 5-6 players out, and we need 6 or 7 players in, and a couple of world-class players at that. Our whole midfield needs a whole new rebuild, and everyone's got to go, because none of them are good enough. Even Thiago, I don't think he's suited for our game. Maybe if we had a different manager, but he's not suited for the way we want to play. Anyway, I'm pretty pissed off, as you can tell. But we go on to the next one. I'll do the player ratings next. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to our player ratings. Okay, it was Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0 at Selhurst Park in the Premier League, and that was about as exciting as it got. So we'll start off and go with Ali. Ali's getting a 6 being the average. Ali's been our player of the season so far, with 15 games to go. It certainly hasn't been his fault that we've capitulated so often this season. He's done his best to try and keep us in games, but he just has no defence and no midfield protection at all. Obviously the goal he gave away against Real Madrid in the Champions League was, self-inflicted, but other than that, he's been pretty awesome all season, so he can hold his head up high. Trent, right back, 4. Trent did his best to give them 2 or 3 goals at the start of the first half. He was fucking woeful. He is one of the best players going when it means going forward. His passes, his shots, his crosses, but defensively he's fucking awful. And to be honest, he sums up this team. It doesn't know what to do when it's going backwards. Matip, 4. I think Joel Matip's career is over as a Liverpool player. He's just too slow. There's a mistake in him now where there wasn't before, and I think he's done his dash. Saying that Joe Gomez is no replacement for him either. He's another one who can go with him. We need Kanate back badly. Virgil, 5. He's coming back from another injury, and he's been a colossus for us over the years, and he will play himself back into some form, but he's hopelessly out of form at the minute. And because we've no one else, we have to keep playing them back into form, which is why it's costing us results and points. Robbo, 5. He suffered a lot with how poor we are in midfield and puts extra pressure on our defenders, and he suffered because of it. He was average, very, very average. Midfield, Hendo came in for Fabian and Stefan, and he just has no positional sense to play 6. Like, he just left gaping fucking holes in midfield. He kept losing his position. He was there to protect the back 4, but fuck, he went missing. Milner, 4. He's too old. 37's too old to play in midfield. You know what I mean? You get away with it as a right back or in centre back or whatever, but you're not going to get away with it in midfield, not in the fucking Premier League. Naby Keita, 2. I hope this is the end of Naby Keita's Liverpool career. He's going in the summer. Fuck him off. Let him rot into the reserves. He's fucking useless. He was hooked at half time. Harvey Elliott was brought in. He's getting a 6 and my man of the match, because he's the only one who actually tried to fucking make a difference and to play at the speed that we would expect from Liverpool players. Up front, Mo Salah, 5. Not one of his better games. He did hit the woodwork. Jota, 5. He's going to take a while to come back. He's been out for months. And Gakpo, 5, who I feel sorry for. He's come into a fucking team that are struggling in a new division that's a big step up from the Eredivisie in Holland. And I think he has, he's applied himself okay since he's come in, but it's tough going. We obviously missed Nunez's powerful runs and the chaos he brings up front. But yeah, look, we're just all. I've said this many times on a load of reviews I've done, that if we want Liverpool to win, they got to all be 7-8s. This is the Premier League. The standard of football has to be at a certain level for us to win games, and we've been miles underneath that for quite a while. We played well against Newcastle. We did okay in 1 or 2 other games, but other than that, we've been fucking off it, and our league position demonstrates it. We were doing okay in the Champions League till we met a really good side, and then they showed us up for the shit that we've become. Jurgen Klopp's getting a 5. I don't know what he's doing, but it's not working, and he really needs to change it around. Like, his faith in Keita is just not warranted. It really isn't. And he is an elite manager, and he must know that this isn't acceptable. Now, everyone's allowed to have a bad couple of games or a bad season, but unless he starts demanding players and letting the fans know if he's getting them or not. But that brings me around to my final thoughts, which is FSG out. I don't want them to stay. Yes, they've done good things. They kept us at Anfield, and yes, they brought Jurgen in, which I think was more fucking luck than anything else, because of the shambolic bullshit that Brendan Rodgers gave us. But, they built Kirby. But again, these were infrastructural changes, building new stands and everything else. That's for them to make more money and to sell it on at a bigger profit. That isn't to benefit the team or to benefit the club. That's to benefit themselves. We need owners who are willing to power. And look, the English FA have fucked the division by letting countries own football clubs. And if we don't get on board with that, I think we will be left behind. Because as shit as Manchester United have been, if you keep throwing 200-300 million every fucking window at things, eventually you're going to get a team, once you get a half-decent manager in who knows how to set it up. And that's what they've done. Arsenal, they were the biggest spenders in the summer, and they're top. Like, the numbers don't fucking lie. Everything else does, but the numbers don't lie. And if you spend the fucking money, you will have a team that's going to be able to compete. And at the minute, we're a fucking mess. It's a self-inflicted mess, mind you. This was created and made in Liverpool, by owners who don't want to spend on the team, by a manager who's too loyal to fucking idiots, and to a backroom staff who are fucking beyond shit. We have a medical team that can't keep players fucking fit. We need Luis Diaz back so badly. We've fucking fallen off a cliff since he's left the team. And instead of getting Gapco, we should have got a midfielder to at least try and, try and get top 4. We can still get top 4, but it's not likely. It's possible, but it's not likely. And I'm not holding out any hope. As I said in my review, I want the fucking season to be over, and we're only in February. We haven't even got into March yet. But it's a long way to go. Another 15 matches of this shit. So onwards and upwards. Obviously, we've got another couple of league games before the Champions League embarrassment. I'm not looking forward to the Real Madrid return leg. I really am. It's going to be another chastising night at the Bernabeu. And yeah, there's nothing. I can see nothing good coming. It just feels like the same old shit's going to happen time and time again until we change this team. Anyway, I'll see you for the next review. Hit the like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.